why the Chinese rarely overspend, and what you can learn from it. In a world obsessed with spending, there's one culture that stands out, not for how much it buys, but for how much it saves. While Western economies chase consumerism like a national sport, China plays a very different game. The numbers don't lie. China's national savings rate hovers around 45.9%, nearly triple that of the average American. That's not a coincidence. It's a mindset, a cultural DNA shaped by thousands of years of hardship, practicality, and long-term thinking. Here's the truth most people miss. Wealth isn't built by spending wisely. It's built by not spending at all, unless it truly matters. And that's where the Chinese excel. From red envelopes at weddings to bulk sacks of rice and a cultural disdain for flashy brands. The habits are simple, repeatable, and radically effective. This article isn't about becoming Chinese. It's about thinking like a culture that refuses to be ruled by impulse. If you're serious about financial freedom, it's time to study the people who quietly practice it every day. These 6 habits might feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, but that's exactly why they work. Welcome to 86 Dawn Finance YouTube channel, where we break down the hidden mechanisms controlling your financial life. Let's break it all down. No fluff, just the truth. Section 1. They talk about money without shame. In many cultures, money is a taboo topic, discussed only in whispers, avoided at dinner tables, and hidden behind polite smiles. But in China, money isn't a secret. It's a subject of strategy, survival, and straight talk. On first dates, it's common for a woman to ask whether a man owns property. Friends openly discuss salaries, mortgage payments, and investment plans. It's not considered rude. It's considered smart. According to a 2023 report by Empower Financial, 62% of Americans avoid money conversations, while 86% are actively searching online for personal finance answers. The disconnect is staggering. Silence around money breeds confusion. In contrast, the Chinese normalize these conversations, removing the shame, comparing notes, and improving together. Talking about money doesn't make you greedy. It makes you informed. More importantly, open discussion crushes the illusions created by social media. When you don't know what others earn, you assume they're doing better, and you spend more to catch up. But when people talk openly about what they have, what they lack, and what they're building toward, a different habit emerges: saving with intention. If you can't talk about money, you'll never learn how to manage it, and what you can't manage will eventually control you. Section 2. They adopt the rice sack mindset. Generational memory runs deep in China, and nowhere is it more visible than in how people prepare for the future. For many Chinese families, especially those shaped by famine or poverty during the Mao era, scarcity wasn't theoretical, it was lived. That legacy created what some economists call precautionary saving behavior, saving not just for goals, but for survival. You see it in their grocery stores. 25-kilo bags of rice stacked high. Not for display, but for use. The IMF has long documented China's high household savings rate, citing cultural conservatism, limited social safety nets, and economic uncertainty as drivers. But underneath that is something deeper, a psychology of resilience. While Western shoppers buy for today, Chinese consumers stockpile for tomorrow, knowing that downturns are not if, but when. This habit isn't just about rice, it's about preparation. In good times, the Chinese buy in bulk, lock in prices, and reduce future risk. They don't wait for disaster to start planning. They plan when things are stable, so they can endure when things are not. Frugality isn't about fear, it's about foresight. And if you want to weather your own storms, it's time to think beyond the shopping cart. Section 3. They turn saving into a game. Most people think of saving money as boring. The Chinese turn it into a form of art. In local street markets, haggling isn't rude, it's expected. It's a ritual passed down from grandparents to grandchildren. You don't just accept the price. You negotiate. You calculate. You compete. That negotiation process isn't about pennies. It's about sharpening financial instinct. Economists at the World Bank have noted that informal negotiation culture in emerging economies often leads to stronger cost-conscious behavior. In China, this behavior is reinforced across generations, helping people develop a tactical mindset toward spending. Even in digital spaces, this continues. Apps like Pinduoduo or Temu, which exploded in popularity globally, reward social sharing and smart timing with massive discounts, gamifying e-commerce in ways that make saving feel like winning. When saving becomes a game, your brain changes. It starts scanning for patterns, opportunities, and efficiency. It feels less like denial, more like strategy. The dopamine hits that others get from buying things, frugal minds get them from not buying. In a world where impulsive spending is the default, turning thrift into sport is not just clever, it's essential. You either play the game of money, or money plays you. Section 4. They don't worship brands. In modern consumer culture, brands are status, but for traditional Chinese households, function trumps fashion. A tool is a tool. A shirt is a shirt. The value lies in what it does, not what it signals. Even today, many Chinese buyers, especially older generations, see luxury branding as wasteful. It's not about looking rich. It's about staying solvent. This is not just cultural. It's strategic. A 2022 McKinsey report on Chinese consumer behavior noted a strong shift toward rational consumption. Especially in lower-tier cities and older demographics, people increasingly evaluate products based on durability, cost efficiency, and core functionality, not brand prestige. When younger Chinese chase global labels, their elders often shake their heads. Made in China is not a joke to them. It's a badge of pragmatism. Avoiding brand obsession protects your wallet and your mind. When you care less about logos, you stop measuring your worth by what you wear. Instead, you direct energy toward building something real, your skills, your savings, your future. The Chinese aren't immune to status envy, but many have mastered the discipline to resist it. Self-respect wears better than any designer label, and financial security never goes out of style. Section 5. They save for the ultimate prize. In many parts of the world, saving is vague. It's for emergencies, or just in case. But in China, saving has a clear target: property ownership. It's not just a financial goal, it's a social rite of passage. Without a home, you're not ready to marry. Without a deed, your future feels uncertain. This pressure, while intense, fuels a savings culture unlike anywhere else. According to HSBC and the People's Bank of China, over 70% of Chinese household wealth is tied up in real estate. Young adults are taught from the start that home ownership is not optional. It's a milestone that requires discipline, sacrifice, and long-term thinking. And so, they delay vacations. They skip luxury purchases. They don't spend for dopamine. They save for dignity. This single-minded focus trains Chinese savers to look beyond temporary pleasure. While others spend on fleeting experiences, they play the long game. In their eyes, a concert ticket fades. A home builds legacy. It's not about the square footage. It's about financial sovereignty. When your savings are tied to a goal that big, every small decision becomes sharper. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Will this bring me closer to owning something that truly matters?" Section 6. They find peace in boredom. Modern life teaches us that happiness is excitement. and excitement must be bought. Streaming subscriptions, food deliveries, weekend getaways, anything to avoid silence. But Chinese frugality flips that narrative. Instead of chasing the next thrill, many Chinese embrace stillness. Peace, not pleasure, is the reward. In traditional Chinese homes, joy isn't loud. It's a quiet conversation over tea, a walk in the park, or an afternoon reading without interruption. According to research by Harvard psychologist Dr. Robert Waldinger, the longest study on human happiness found that deep, stable relationships, not flashy lifestyles, predict long-term well-being. The Chinese cultural focus on simplicity, family bonding, and low-cost social rituals naturally reinforces this. When you stop equating stimulation with satisfaction, your spending drops and your contentment rises. The calm moments you once overlooked begin to feel rich in their own way. And when life feels full without constant consumption, you gain true financial power, the ability to say no. In a world that monetizes every emotion, choosing boredom is an act of rebellion. It's also a form of wealth, because the people who can sit still without spending are the ones who are hardest to manipulate and easiest to free. Conclusion: frugality is not poverty, it's power. Most people misunderstand frugality. They think it's about restriction, scarcity, or going without. But the Chinese model tells a different story. Frugality is not about having less. It's about needing less, and therefore controlling more. In a nation of 1.4 billion people, where survival has often depended on collective resilience, frugal habits aren't just cultural quirks. They are financial armor. Whether it's open conversations about money, buying in bulk, rejecting brand hype, or saving with ruthless purpose, the Chinese have turned thrift into a system, a mindset, a way of life that resists the pressure to perform and instead focuses on what actually builds freedom, cash flow, self-awareness, and long-term security. This isn't about idolizing a culture. It's about learning from one. In a world that punishes hesitation and rewards instant gratification, adopting even one of these 6 habits could shift your entire financial trajectory. So the next time you feel the itch to buy your way into happiness, pause, brew some tea, ask yourself what really matters. Because wealth isn't found in what you flaunt, it's built in what you quietly protect. Choose discipline over dopamine, choose legacy over lifestyle, and choose wealth the Chinese way: calm, quiet, and completely intentional. Please note that 86 Dawn Finance does not offer advice on taxes, legal matters, investments, or finances. The content is intended solely for educational purposes and should not be considered professional advice. For personalized guidance, please consult your own qualified advisors. Although the information has been carefully researched and reviewed, it may not represent the latest legal or financial updates. Viewers are advised to confirm the accuracy and timeliness of the information, particularly before making any major financial or legal decisions. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and stay our 86 Dawn Finance channel.